Hey, Julian here. I wanted to make a video just to respond to a few of the most common questions I get about Dance Tribe. The first one that people ask me a lot is along the lines of, am I going to have to learn how to do certain steps? Is it going to be difficult? Am I going to have to keep up with some kind of choreography like a trained dancer or something? Is everyone going to be looking at me? Do I have to be good at it? And you can just put all that stuff aside because it's not about that at all. No choreography, no special steps that you need to learn, no one demanding that you keep up. You can rest anytime. You can move in whatever way you want to move. There are people in the room who are really experienced, beautiful, authentic, unique dancers, and there are people in the room who are trained dancers, and that's apparent, right? If you look around, you can see, wow, there are some people who are amazing movers in whatever the variety, the beautiful variety of ways that may be the case. And then there are people who are very new to expressing themselves in this way. Maybe they're dealing with self-consciousness, maybe they're not as fluid and open in their bodies, and so they're there to invite more of that fluidity and openness. And there's a wide range of ages, younger people, older people, everything in between. So yeah, it's not about performance or choreography or keeping up or how you look. It's about how it feels. Second question that people ask me a lot, is it 5 rhythms or is it like 5 rhythms? 5 rhythms is beautiful. Dance Tribe is not 5 rhythms. It's definitely influenced by 5 rhythms, like I think all of the different free-form dance modalities or gatherings or communities are. We're all influenced by 5 rhythms because 5 rhythms and Gabrielle Roth really started all of this off in terms of a Western human potential movement, spiritual kind of engagement with dance as a practice. So, big gratitude and reverence and respect to Gabrielle Roth and to the 5 rhythm system. Like most people in LA, when I started doing this kind of dance and participating in this community, it was 5 rhythms classes in the late 90s, and it was awesome. And I think for most of us, after 5 years, 10 years of engaging in that particular practice, doing those exercises, moving through those structures, all of which I think are great, at a certain point we're like, yeah, we just want to be set free to explore and move and express ourselves and be in the moment. Because what happens is if you do that 5 rhythms kind of structure and you engage in that way, over time it sets you more free to just express yourself and to get into that place. Gabrielle Roth's first book was called Maps to Ecstasy. This is a map that can take you, one way, that can take you into an ecstatic state. And I think, in the 80s and the 90s, when all of this was very new and people were sort of not sure how to enter into it, having a structure like that, having exercises like that, and having the community that Gabrielle Roth created it was fantastic, and it was really necessary. All of this has continued to blossom and evolve, and it's so much more widespread now. So is it like 5 rhythms? Yeah, we can't help but be influenced by 5 rhythms. And as a DJ, not only as a mover and in terms of who's in the room, but as a DJ, I'm very influenced by a 5 rhythms way of thinking about how I structure my playlists. And I think most DJs have some version of those sort of arcs and ways of moving in and out of different emotional energies. So is it like 5 rhythms? Yeah. Is it official 5 rhythms, technique and all of that? No. Another question people will ask, well, is it ecstatic dance? Is it like ecstatic dance? And for quite a long time, ecstatic dance was just sort of the generic term that people used for describing all these different ways of, high vibration people getting together in beautiful rooms and getting barefoot and dancing together with this kind of shared intention to be respectful and playful and to grow together and to heal together and see what happened. So for a long time, ecstatic dance wasn't a brand name. It was just like what we called it. Instead of saying 5 rhythms, because it wasn't all 5 rhythms, it was like, well, it's ecstatic dance. We're all getting ecstatic together. And then at a certain point, ecstatic dance started to become its own kind of brand with its own sort of method and its own rules and ideas. And it's very open-ended. And I love ecstatic dance. I love the people who do ecstatic dance. So is it ecstatic dance? Well, let's see. we're not five rhythms, but we're similar to five rhythms, right? Because it's a similar experience, and there are certain landmarks that are similar, but we're not going to stop the music and do specific exercises. We're not going to always move through the rhythms in that particular structure, right? So no, it's not five rhythms. In that way, it's much more free form. Is it ecstatic dance? Well, it's like ecstatic dance in that a lot of the same reference points are there: sound system, dance floor, dancers, barefoot, desire to be conscious together. But I think the way in which what I do and what we're doing with Dance Tribe is a little different than ecstatic dance, especially the ecstatic dance that happens here in LA. But I think ecstatic dance in general, wherever you're taking it, is that ecstatic dance gatherings tend to be more like an event, more like a concert, more like a featured DJ, different DJs rotating through on different weeks, and they come and they play their specific style, and a lot of them are DJ sort of artist, composers, so they're playing a lot of other people's music. They're also playing their own music that they've been creating, and typically what you'll find at those events, correct me if I'm wrong here, is that the music tends to be one particular vibe, one particular energy level, one particular tempo most of the time. And it tends to be very, very, very much electronic dance music of various forms. If you know beats per minute, like 120 beats per minute and higher for the most part, and thumping what you really think of as modern dance music, contemporary dance music. I definitely hit those places in Dance Tribe. For over a 2-hour period, we may have like 20 or 25 minutes, usually in 2 different segments that are at that level of intensity and that kind of music. But I'm kind of old school and actually more like a five rhythms DJ in that I love drawing from lots of different musical styles, lots of different emotional tones, lots of different tempos and levels of intensity, and yeah, just all of that. So everything from straight up like traditional tribal music to music that's developed more for meditation and it's more ambient and soft and sort of takes you into those spaces, into like singer-songwriter stuff that's more emotional or acoustic and organic, into then all of the different electronic genres that include hip-hop and trap music and dubstep and house music and tribal house and full-on trance, electro swing. So I blend all sorts of different genres, and that's my art form. My art form is really taking you on a journey where the different types of music, the different energies, the different ways that you're going to feel is progressively morphing and giving you opportunities to be in different states of mind, to inhabit your body in different ways, to connect emotionally with yourself and with the others around you in different ways. So that's one significant difference, I think, between Dance Tribe and ecstatic dance. And I think ecstatic dance is beautiful, and five rhythms is also really beautiful. And I think, choreographed dance classes where people are really learning how to do steps, beautiful too. So hopefully this is a useful conversation in terms of breaking down some of the differences and giving you a sense of what to expect at Dance Tribe if you've never come before. I'm doing slightly different things on Tuesday night versus Thursday night, so that makes it interesting and a little more complicated as well. I call my Tuesday night Dance Tribe the Ecstatic Flow. And so in the Ecstatic Flow, this is the structure or the format that I've been doing for the last 5 years. We have a gradual build toward the first peak that's usually about an hour in, and then we drop down into a middle valley that's more sort of contemplative and reflective, and you kind of get a chance to rest and be more inward. And then we slowly build. Actually, the second build is a little quicker toward the second peak, and then after the second peak, we drop down again and chill out together before the closing circle. And then on Thursday nights, I'm doing something a little different that I call the deep dive. And the deep dive is more of a slow, gradual arc that has a few ups and downs in it all the way towards one big peak, and then a longer chill out period at the end. And in the build toward that peak, there's a little more variety. There's a little more sense actually of me interacting and breathing with the room and responding to what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing. So yeah, I love sharing this stuff with you. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. Feel free to message me or make comments below if you have any questions or comments.